So what I'm going to be discussing now are frequency tables. So let's say, for example, we have some, this is a new unit, by the way. So let's say we have some data. It's just going to be a set of numbers. So the numbers are going to be, we'll say, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 6, 6. And I want to show those numbers in a slightly more compact way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to list all the values. So the values we have, that we have a 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, and 6s. And then the frequency of those things, so for the 2, there's 1, 2, 3, there's 3 of them. So this over here is going to be our frequency. So we have 3 of them, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 5 of the 3s, 2 4s, 1 5, and 3 6s. Oops, that went off the screen a bit. So that's a frequency table. A frequency table is just a way of showing data in a relatively quick way. Now, the next mini concept to learn, before we do this, because I'm kind of skipping over some lessons, is going to be population versus a sample. So what we have is, we have a population. So imagine, and a population doesn't necessarily have to be the entire population, say, of Canada. Let's say I'm interested in the number of people, the number of adults who have COVID-19 or something like that. So the population in that case would be adults. If I'm interested in the number of teenagers who have met their friends during this quarantine, then this would be just the teenagers. So that would be the population. And then what happens is, often when we want to find out things about a population, we don't check the whole population. We check a sample. So a sample is taken out of a population. And if you have your textbook, if you're interested, you could read its chapters 2.2, and it talks about various types of sampling. And it might be worth going through. So what we're actually going to be doing here, we're going to be talking about mean, median, and mode, which is a topic you should be familiar with. Right, so let's say, for example, we'll have our data set A. And I'm going to say that the numbers there are going to be 3, 3, 4, 8, 11, 12, and 17. Those are the curly brackets from domain and range, if you remember that from last year, potentially. So let's say I want to know what is the mode. The mode is the most common, and so the most common here is 3. 3 is the most common. And the next thing is going to be the median. And the median is going to be the number in the middle. So there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the number in the middle. We'll come up with a better way of finding it in a second. And that's the median. And then the mean, that's what we tend to call the average. But really, they're actually all averages. And the way you find the mean is you add up all the values and you divide by, so you go 3 plus 3 plus 4 plus 8 plus 11 plus 12 plus 17. And you divide by the number of values there are, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you divide by 7. And in this case, I think you would get 8.3. Now, a cool way of writing a formula, if you wanted to be neat about it, would be the formula for mean is you add up all the values of x, so that's the sum of, so sum of all the values of x, divided by n, where n is the number of points in the data set. So it's the sum of all the values of x divided by the number of points. Okay, so that's mean. We're going to do some stat symbols. So some stat symbols might be this over here looks like a U, but it's actually a mu, which is also a legal Scrabble word, by the way. As a total side point, that you should, if you're going to play Scrabble effectively, there's a lot of two-letter Scrabble words that are important. So, using that formula from before, the mean of the population is going to be the sum of the values of x over n. If I want to have the mean of a sample, it's a different symbol. It's an x with a bar over it, and that's the mean of the sample. So this is the mean of the population. This is the mean of the population, and that's the mean of the sample. And it won't matter for a bit, but it's going to matter eventually. For now, we'll generally assume that everything is going to be the mean of a population until I tell you otherwise. Okay, let's go back to the median. So data set B, because the second one. So I'm going to say that's 3, 4, 8, 11, 17, and 324. And I want the median. So the median is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The median is going to be somewhere kind of over there. That's where the median is going to be. So when the median is between two numbers, so the position of the median, so the number of things, the number of numbers in our set, the number of elements in the set was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There was n elements in the set. The position of the median was kind of between 3 and 4, which we're going to say is 3.5. So 3.5 is going to be between 3 and 4. And what we do when it's between two numbers is we actually, the median is going to be 8 plus 11 over, we're going to add up the numbers and we're going to take the average of the two numbers, which would be 9.5. Okay. Now let's have a data set C, and that's going to be more numbers. So 4, 7, 11, 17, 22, 36, 45, let's just go by 9s, 54, 63, 72, 81. Okay. So our n is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Our n is 11, and the middle is going to be, so da, 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 da. Oops, I screwed that up, didn't I? There, 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 there. It meets over there. So it's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th position. So the position of the median is going to be 6, not the actual median. The actual median, so it's in the 6th position, the actual median is going to be 36 for this data set. So from n and from the position, we can actually get a formula. It is not an official one, it's kind of one I've made up. But we're going to use it anyway. And it's going to be that the position of the median, so not the actual median, but the position of the median after you've taken all the data and lined it up from lowest to highest, is going to be n plus 1 over 2. So when we had 6 data points over there, 6 plus 1 over 2 is 7 over 2 is 3.5. When we had 11 data points, 11 plus 1 is 12. 12 divided by 2 is 6. Okay. Now, we're going to go on to mean. Actually, we'll do all three. So we're going to have a data set here. So it's going to be a long data set. So we're going to have data set D. Secondary lights are went off. So 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3. 11, 120. Okay, so there's our data set. N is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Wait. Let's screw this up. I only wanted, that's not the number I wanted. I want it to be a slightly ugly number. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 20. So there's going to be 20 numbers. So N is 20. And what I want to find is I'm going to find the mean, the median, and the mode. So the mode, we'll start with the mode because the mode is the easiest. The mode is whatever's the most common. The mode is 2. Okay. Now for the median, we need to find the position of the median first. So the position of the median is n plus 1 over 2. N is 20, so it's going to be 20 plus 1 over 2, which is going to be 10.5. That's not the actual median, no, that's the position of the median. So that's the position of the median. The actual median is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is the 10th number, that's the 11th number, and it's going to be the average between those two numbers, and the average of 3 and 3 is 3. So the median is 3. And less exciting, if we wanted to find the mean, it's going to be the sum of x. Oh, so the mean is the sum of x over n, which is going to be, I'm looking at it, so it's 2 times 8 plus 3 times 4 plus 7 times 3 plus 11 times 4 plus 120, all divided by 20, which is, calculator, which is 10.7. Okay. So, the next data set, I'm going to cleverly call data set E. So data set E is going to be, that's the X. I'm going to do it as a frequency table actually because I don't feel like writing it out so much. So 2, 3, 7, 11, 120, and I'm going to say the frequency is 8, 4, 3, 4, 1. So there's my frequency table. And what I want to do here is I want the same thing is I want the mean, median, and the mode. So the mode is the one that's most common. So which one of these is most common? Well, the most common is going to be the one that has the highest frequency. It's the one that's repeated the most often. And so the mode in this case is actually going to be 2. Now to find the median, we're going to have to figure out what n is. So n is how many things do we have? So we have 8 of these guys, 4 of these guys, 3 of these guys, 4 of these guys, and 1 of those guys. So really we just have to add up the frequencies. So the n is kind of like the sum of the frequencies, which in this case would be 20, which means that the position of the median is going to be 20 plus 1 over 2, which is 21 over 2, which is 10.5. So where is the 10.5th number? So the first 8 numbers are 2s, so when we get down to here, we're at the 8th number, and then by the time we finished over here, we're at the 12th number. By the time we finish here, we're at the 15th number. The last one there is the 15th, the last one there is the 19th, and the last one there is the 20th. So these are numbers 9, 10, 11, and 12. 10 and 11 are in there. So the median itself is going to be 3. And the last thing we have to figure out is the mean. And the way we're going to figure out the mean is essentially, we have to, it's the sum of all the values, and the sum of all the values is going to be this type of, I'm gonna obviously get back to here. This data set E and data set D that I had over here are actually exactly the same data set, right? This and this are exactly the same thing. We have 8 2s, 8 2s, 3 4, 4 3s, I mean, 4 3s, 3, you know what I mean. So there's 3 of these, and it says there's 3 of them. There's 4 of those, and it says there's 4 of them. There's 1 of those, and it says there's 1 of those. So D and E were the same thing. I just wrote E as a frequency table instead of writing out all the horrible numbers. But we're going to solve everything in pretty much the same way. So the way we find the mean is we're going to write it as a formula. We're going to take the values and multiply them by their frequencies and then add that up. And then we're going to divide by the sum of the frequencies, which in this case would be 2 times 8 plus 3 times 4 plus 7 times 3 plus etc., just like the other problem, plus over 8 plus 4 plus 3 plus 4 plus 1, which presumably will be 10.7 as well. Okay, so I'll do some examples on the next video.